from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast. I've got a packed show for you this Wednesday morning, September 7th, 2022. I hope you're ready, buckled in, tuned in. You've got your cup of coffee, tea, Red Bull, Celsius, whatever you're drinking this morning. I hope you enjoy it. Again, traveling where I record from my hotel room, if you can't tell by the background. And so they don't have an espresso machine here. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Makes me miss Europe a little bit. It's about one of the only things I miss about Europe is almost every hotel room, no matter where you went, had an espresso machine. Unfortunately, in the US, that's not the case. We've got Keurigs, but be better than the Keurig is my line of the morning. All right, folks. Let's get into today's show. Coffee cup cheers with whatever you're drinking. And we'll start with Google patching its sixth Chrome Zeroday of 2022. So 6 0 days in as many as 9 months, where Google has released an additional emergency update to patch a high-severity vulnerability in its Chrome web browser that's already been exploited in the wild. It's tracked as CVE 2022-3075. The high-severity security bug was reported by an anonymous researcher. Google has yet to determine the bug ban and reward to be handed out. In its advisory, Google has warned that an exploit targeting this vulnerabilities already exists publicly, but it does not provide additional information on any observed exploitation accounts. So they're asking everyone to patch to the latest Chrome version immediately. The US seizes WT1Shop market, which is selling credit cards, credentials, and IDs. The international law enforcement operation has seized the website and domains for WT1Shop, a criminal marketplace that sold stolen creds, ID cards, and millions of login credentials. This was one of the largest marketplaces of PII data commonly used by threat actors to buy credentials for account takeovers, credit cards for online purchases, government ID cards for identity theft, and a whole slew more. The representatives of WT1Shop commonly promoted the marketplace on Russian hacking forums and Reddits that catered to online criminal activity. Today, the Department of Justice announced that Portuguese authorities seized the website, and the U.S. seized 4 internet domains used to access the criminal marketplace, including WT1Shop.net, WT1Shop.cc, WT1Store.com, and WT1Store.net. Other domains used by the website were .biz, .me, .xyz, .org, which do not appear to be seized now. However, as the website is seized, visiting any of these domains no longer allows access to the store. The operation was conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office of the District of Maryland and the FBI. So another marketplace down and 2 more will pop up in its place. The correct answer here, while we applaud law enforcement for taking this action, the correct answer here is to make it so that these marketplaces can no longer function. And that's cutting it at the root. And prosecuting the companies that knowingly know that they're holding these types of websites. Finally, another story here, is the Mirai Botnet, which is known as MooBot, is co-opting vulnerable D-Link devices into an army of denial-of-service bots by taking advantage of multiple exploits. This, according to a latest report by Palo Alto's Unit 42. MooBot, first disclosed by Kihu 360's NetLab in September of 2019, has previously targeted Lilin digital video recorders and Hikvision video surveillance products, expand its network. The latest the wave of attacks that was discovered in August of this year by Palo Alto looks at 4 different CVEs within D-Link, all of which have had an impact. CVE 2015, 2051, 2018 6530, 2022 26258, and 2022 28958, all of which are D-Link vulnerabilities and how they're taking advantage of that. Yesterday, we reported that Instagram and Meta were fined $400 million by Ireland for GDPR violations. Well, now the spokesperson for Meta, the parent company for Instagram, has said that they are appealing the fine, saying that the calculation of the fine is inaccurate and does not comply with GDPR guidelines, essentially saying the fine is too excessive. They're not really arguing over the findings of this, meaning they're looking at the $400 million fine as the cost of business. Could they get it down by another $100 million? That'd be great. If not, they'll pay it. I mean, it's the cost of doing business is what this seems like. With the fine, they haven't really included details as to why they think the fine is miscalculated, just saying that the fine has been miscalculated. So more on this story as it develops, and be sure to brief you all on that when we have more information. Several months ago, we talked about an Israeli man who was spying on the Israeli defense minister, and at the time he was the second in command for the prime ministership when Prime Minister Netanyahu was in office. So that resident, Omri Goran Gorovsky, a 38-year-old resident of the central city of Lod, who was employed with a partner as a cleaner in the Gantz home in Rosh Ain outside of Tel Aviv, was arrested in November of last year, charged with attempting to spy for the Black Shadow Group and passing information from the Gantz home to the hackers. On Tuesday, he reached a plea deal in which he confessed to an attempt to pass information to an enemy, where the court sentenced him to 3 years in prison. That's it. That's what you get for spying in Israel, folks. The Shin Bet Domestic Security Agency said last year that Gorovsky never gained access to classified materials and therefore did not successfully share state secrets, adding that he was arrested just days after he reached out to Black Shadow, meaning he actually proactively went after that. So just showing you, no matter what you do, there's always that insider threat that one cannot even begin to fathom the difficulties of identifying it. Luckily for Israel, this was addressed almost immediately, and this person is now going to serve 3 years in jail. So, it is what it is. North Korean hackers are deploying a new MagicRAT malware in a targeted campaign. The Trojan itself, which is called MagicRAT, the previously unknown piece of malware that have been deployed in victim networks that have been initially breached via successful exploitation of internet-facing VMware Horizon servers, Cisco Talos said in a report shared this week. While being in a relatively simple RAT capability-wise, it was built with the recourse to the Qt framework with the sole intent of making human analysis harder and automated detection through machine learning and less likely, according to Talos. Lazarus Group, also known as APT-38, refers to the cluster of financially motivated and espionage-driven cyber activities undertaken by the North Korean government. Another prolific remote access Trojan coming from the North Koreans with financial motivations of targeting financial organizations. Something to read up on, brush up on, and be ready for, especially as we head into the fourth quarter here. Folks, that's it for our show today. We'll be back with a whole lot more tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe and support the podcast by going to our website, CyberHubPodcast.com, joining one of our mailing lists, which is always great, or just checking out one of our show supporters and letting them know you support the show. Folks, that's it for today. We'll be back with a whole lot more tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.